Hey guys, welcome back to Wigwam Gaming. Today we are taking a preview look at the game Mystic Melee. Just a few real quick things before we get too far into this video. I just want to say that this is an early access game, so we are not going to be too critical of the game. It's very much a work in progress still. That of course doesn't mean that I'm going to miss the opportunity to provide some constructive feedback on the game, just that any faults should be taken with a grain of salt as this is not an official release. Secondly, as you may notice, there is no footage of me in this video. I'm going out of town this weekend for my birthday, and I am trying to get this video done beforehand because I am really trying to be better about getting videos out to you guys on a timely manner. You all have been so amazingly supportive lately, and I am really trying to spend more time on my channel for you guys and gals. So on to what we all came for, Mystic Melee. Mystic Melee is an action-adventure platformer chock to the brim with magic spells, challenging platforming, and creative enemies, all with a bit of an 80s visual undertone. The game is available on Steam right now for $15. Mystic Melee is being developed by Ben Hopkins, who you may know from... well, actually, you probably wouldn't know him from anything. He has a few other games listed on his website, but as far as I can tell, this is going to be his first major release. And what a hell of a way to get started. So right off the bat, you all know I love platformers, or at least good platformers. And this game is a platformer with some buttery smooth mechanics. Movement is everything in a platformer because they're games that challenge your ability to move. You can jump, slide, and glide your way through levels. These levels are designed for speedrunning, which is usually not my cup of tea, but Mystic Melee changes that. Flying through a level while stacking up your combo score by collecting these little 80s neon cubes is a hell of a fun challenge. That's right, your high score will be based not just on your time, but on your combo as well. And combos are based more on collecting all the magical cubes than they are fighting enemies. Although, of course, you'll want to avoid taking damage or your combo resets. At the end of each level, the high score screen pops up to fill you with a sense of accomplishment or crippling shame. Yay! But this game is about a lot more than just flying through levels as quickly as possible. For those not at all interested in speedrunning, Mystic Melee is more than capable of holding your interest with its narrative and puzzle solving. Your first run through on any given level isn't going to be topping the leaderboards anyways. The first time you play through a level, you can expect a challenge. Well, a challenge can be a bit of an understatement. Some of these levels would be more accurately described as harder than ironclad balls in a snowstorm. Take the first real boss fight, for example. It can feel damn near impossible the first time you play through it. His attacks feel like they cover half the screen, and his window of vulnerability lasts about 2 seconds max. But when I finally beat that boss, I jumped out of my chair and yelled a triumphant "fuck yes" at my computer monitor. That's what you want from a game. A challenge followed by a feeling of accomplishment. That's what you get when you have solid and interesting game mechanics juxtaposed with the right level of difficulty. And Mystic Melee has some great game mechanics. Apart from the solid platforming I already mentioned, the game introduces a magic system that reminds me of the classic upgrade systems from the NES days. As you go through a level, you can find certain spells. You can have up to 2 spells at a time, and every one of them does something different. Some are great for combat, some help you navigate the world, and often they can do both. You get a limited number of uses though, so don't just spam all your magic away. This system brings both the combat and the exploration to a whole new level. You often have to use your abilities to find the hidden, whatever these are, in each level, and you need to collect those things to unlock further levels and bosses. And the combat you can really put to the test in this game's multiplayer levels. There is an up to 4-player brawler mode or a capture the flag mode. These modes feature 4 different playable characters who you'll run across in the main story. As you've probably noticed from the game footage, you can play as one of 4 characters. You can sometimes pick your characters in the story mode, but in the part of the story that's released currently, you're often playing whatever character the game makes you. But that's only because we still have more levels and more game coming to us at a later date. Each character though offers a few unique twists with their basic melee attacks. It's too early to tell what other impacts changing your character might have on the later levels of play, but I am excited to see what else the developer can do with this concept. In addition to all of these great aspects, Mystic Melee delivers a driving and powerful soundtrack. It's one of those soundtracks that perfectly encapsulates the feeling of the game itself. As of right now, I don't have too many gripes about Mystic Melee. I don't typically do previews, so it should say a lot to you guys that I would feature a game still earlier on in its development. My only worry is that the game may end up being short. The main screen shows 5 worlds, one of which is mostly just the tutorial levels, and the other 2 I completed in probably under 2 hours. While speedrunning can add a lot of time to the game, it's no substitute for variety in levels. As of right now though, Mystic Melee is certainly headed into the right direction, and even if it ends up being a bit shorter than I might want, it still fleshes out a lot of depth into its gameplay through its multiplayer modes and collectibles. Also, it's briefly worth mentioning in the preview that the online multiplayer doesn't really seem to be working too well at the moment, but we can probably chalk that up to the early release as well. So, definitely give Mystic Melee a chance, or if you want to wait for the full release, at least go ahead and follow this game on Steam to get notified when it comes out. And of course, if you like this video, maybe follow me as well and hit the bell to be notified when I post new videos. Now, if you will all excuse me, I have a Melee tournament to go 0-2 at and a birthday weekend to drink heavily for. As always, I love your beautiful faces, and I will catch you all later. Bye-bye. Imagine I'm pointing fingers and stuff like I usually do. Just imagine it in your mind. But